Yo, what's up guys, my name is AFC and welcome to a new video. Originally I didn't plan to make this video, but for about a year now people have occasionally been asking me to make a sort of a guide for the battle tower on how to get those 50 wins. And at first I didn't think it was necessary to make a video like this, but since a lot of people have been asking this for a long while actually, I decided to make a video about it and basically show you guys how I do it, and I'll give you some general tips as well. I'll basically show you guys which Pokemon I use and which sets, but I can understand if not, I can understand that not everyone could get these Pokemon that easily, so I also made a recommendation for you guys on the team. I was basically with 3 Pokemon that everyone should be able to get if they look for it. But yeah, that's basically the explanation. If you find this video informative, definitely make sure to hit that like button. Also check out my Discord server, and if you have any requests, I have a channel in my Discord server in which you can request a video idea and I might do it. And also make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more Pokemon content. And without further ado guys, let's hop right into the video. Okay guys, this is basically the team I pretty much use every single time in the battle tower. I consistently get 50 wins, and this is usually done within 50 minutes, so that's pretty decent. I will talk about each Pokemon individually in a moment, but first let me give you guys some general tips on how to approach the battle tower. The first tip guys is remove your PvP mindset, because the Pokemon you'll be facing won't have the optimal PvP sets. So I'm talking about movesets, I'm talking about abilities, natures, EVs, IVs, those kind of things. They won't be optimal. For example, Pokemon like Alakazam and Jolteon, who are supposed to be faster than Staraptor and Garchomp, are going to be slower every single time. Exceptions like Aerodactyl and Weavile. Most of the times they will be slower, but they could sometimes be faster. And there are also other exceptions which are always going to be faster than Staraptor and Garchomp. Pokemon like Gengar. Gengar will always run the Timid set with a Life Orb, and he will use Sludge Bomb and Hex. If you face a Gengar and you have Staraptor out, don't stay in, because he's gonna one-shot Staraptor with Sludge Bomb. So switch him to something like Garchomp, who resists Sludge Bomb, and he will take nothing from Hex, or very little from Hex, because you don't have a status effect on you. Or you can switch into Raikou, and if he doesn't do it KO you can Ball Mind and knock him out with Thunderbolt, for example. Otherwise, weaken him to the point where Garchomp can knock it out after it. And Clefable is also an exception. Clefable is usually a fairy type. Well, Clefable is a fairy type, but Clefable will never run Moonblast. So Pokemon like Garchomp can set up a Soil Stance on Clefable, knowing that Clefable won't use a fairy type attack. And yeah, you'll pretty much know the sets if you play the battle tower enough times, because they will pretty much stay the same. It does depend on which stage you are. Like if you are playing at first few games, the sets will be different than when you are playing the last few games. So that's something to consider as well. But the next tip is don't be lazy, because I remember a few situations in which I knocked out the first Pokemon with Staraptor, the second Pokemon comes in, and I know that I might not knock it out because the Pokemon is really bulky, but I'll go for the attack anyway because I switching at the time. But don't have this mindset, guys. If you can switch into a Pokemon that can beat the opposing Pokemon and you know your Pokemon lives the incoming attack, then go for that switch. Because you'll never know what the last Pokemon might be, and you'll never know what item the Pokemon you're facing has. So maybe he has something like a Quick Claw, and if you attack, you'll die without doing damage because they go first. So that's also something to consider. And yeah, those items, Bright Powder, Focus Band, Quick Claw, are annoying. If you can, to keep that in mind. But yes, sometimes you can not do anything about it. And other things as well, like a lot of Pokemon carry berries as well. Like the Tyranitar will 99% of the times have a Chople Berry. So, and a few Steel types will have something like Sugar Berry for ground type attack. I have a Woody Berry, a Basho Berry, I believe, and some Pokemon have something that reduces fire type attacks. It's something to consider as well. I can pretty much guarantee that the Tyranitar will always have a Chople Berry, so don't click a close combat with Staraptor there if Tyranitar hasn't been weakened. Just U-turn out into Garchomp. And another tip is don't be greedy, because you might be able to set up a Swords Dance on things like Magneton, but Magneton carries Mirror Shot, which if it hits you can lower your accuracy. And there are a lot of Pokemons with attacks that have a secondary effect, and those secondary effects might be really annoying when you're setting up. And some Pokemon might even kill you when you try to set up. Like a Tyranitar can go for Avalanche, Bastiodon, Metagross, Probopass can carry something like Ice Fang or Ice Punch. So definitely keep that in mind. And I would advise you to don't actually set up at all in the first few games, because the Pokemon you'll face are really weak. They're usually not fully evolved Pokemon, so you'll probably one-shot them anyway with a Life Orb, and usually Staraptor one-shots them anyway. But I would only advise you to set up on Pokemon that you know they have no way of killing you. So for example, if a Slaking just killed your Staraptor, Slaking has the Truant ability. So that means you get that Swords Dance turn, because on this turn, you cannot attack you because of Truant. And Pokemon like Ampharos, an electric type Pokemon, or Manectric, they have no way of touching your Garchomp. Pokemon in the Battle Tower, by the way, do never carry a hidden power move, so never hidden power Ice, Fire, Grass, or whatever. So you don't have to be afraid of them going for that attack. Same for Jolteon. So Garchomp can just stay in against this Pokemon and just set up a Swords Dance. But just keep in mind that some Pokemon can carry something like Ice Fang and Ice Punch, and you'll know these sets if you play the Battle Tower enough times, because the sets will pretty much stay the same. They will differ depending on which stage of the challenge. Like if you are in the first few battles, then the sets are going to be different, or might be different, than when you are at the last few battles of the challenge. Because experience here does play a role, so the more you have played this, the more you can expect what the certain movesets are. Certain Pokemon are going to be faster or not. And those are basically the general tips. Now let's talk about these three Pokemon individually, and after this I will give some recommendations for a team if you don't have these Pokemon. Okay, for our first Pokemon we have Staraptor. Pretty much every game we are going to lead off with Staraptor, and we'll go with the Choice Band item and a Reckless ability, because these items combined, or these two things combined with the move Brave Bird, is just gonna one-shot pretty much everything that doesn't resist the attack. So pretty much in the first few games you lead off with Staraptor and kill everything in your face in front of you, because like I said earlier, those Pokemon are not fully evolved most of the times, so they won't have the defensive and HP stats to live the attack from Staraptor. We have Quick Attack as the second move, just because sometimes you switch out with Staraptor and a Pokemon gets to like 2 or 1 HP, but they might carry something like a Quick Claw. Then having that priority Quick Attack is just really nice to secure that kill and not be surprised by the Quick Claw. We have Close Combat to hit Rock types mainly. Brave Bird obviously doesn't do that much since Rock types are in most cases also really bulky. And then we have another really important move, U-turn, because if the first Pokemon you'll face is a Pokemon you cannot beat, then you can U-turn, and a U-turn does a bit of damage, also breaks a potential Sturdy, which is really nice. For example, a Magneton. You never want to click Close Combat on a Magneton or Magnezone, because in a lot of cases they can carry Sturdy, and they actually do carry Sturdy. So just U-turn out. If a Pokemon can have Sturdy, then expect them to have Sturdy in the battle tower. That's another tip. So just U-turn on this Pokemon, go into Garchomp and kill them because they don't have a Sturdy anymore. That's basically the idea with Staraptor. You should not care too much about health. I know you can take a lot of recoil from Brave Bird, but health is not really important on Staraptor. Just doing damage, and Brave Bird does a lot of damage. And honestly, you don't need Double Edge next to it, because Double Edge does kill electric type Pokemon, but a lot of electric type Pokemon have the ability Static. And by the way, if you face a Pokemon with something like Static, Flame Body, Poison, Touch, or whatever, then just hard switch into something like Garchomp or Raikou. Don't go for U-turn there, because you don't want that Static on Staraptor. Mainly, you don't want to be paralyzed or burned on Staraptor. But that's basically everything about Staraptor. Let's hop on to the next one, being Garchomp. Garchomp is pretty much a staple in every team. PvP, PvE, whatever. Garchomp is one of the Pokemon you pretty much must have. But he's also really nice in a battle tower. Like, you could lead with Garchomp as well, but I usually have him as backup, because Garchomp is really bulky. He can often switch into an attack and kill something. But Garchomp's offensive pressure is a lot. Like, he can set up a sword stance on things that cannot beat it and do a lot of damage against the opposing team. And that's basically, and Earthquake is just such a good move. And the reason we don't run a Choice Band on him is because there are a few Pokemon that carry the Levitate ability or are flying types, and then you're kind of forced to switch. And with the Choice Band, obviously you cannot click Sword Stance, which could be really good in a few situations. Yeah, Garchomp, switch it in after you U-turn. Like, if you U-turn with Staraptor against a Rock type Pokemon, you can U-turn into Garchomp. Also, if Staraptor switches out against an electric type Pokemon, you can bring in Garchomp. Sometimes you do have to keep the Ice Fang in mind, like Luxray could carry Ice Fang, but still, Garchomp is often still a safe switch, and say most of the times go for the electric type attack. But yeah, there's not much to say about Garchomp. I think how to use him is pretty straightforward. Now let's talk about the last Pokemon. Okay, the third Pokemon is Raikou. And the reason we want Raikou in this team is because Raikou actually has a really nice special defense alongside his special attack. And Raikou does beat those Pokemon that are too bulky for Staraptor to one-shot. And obviously if Staraptor cannot one-shot those bulky Pokemon, then Garchomp obviously can't either. But mainly those bulky water type Pokemon, because pretty much every water type Pokemon does carry an ice type coverage move, being Ice Fang, Ice Beam, something like that. So having Raikou there is really nice to actually kill those Pokemon. And Raikou can set up Calm Minds against special attackers and basically reduce their damage while increasing Raikou's damage. But that's really nice. And Garchomp is also really fast. I'm pretty sure nothing is going to be faster in a battle tower than Raikou, because like I earlier explained, the opposing Pokemon won't have the right moveset, so Pokemon that are supposed to be faster are definitely going to be slower than Raikou. But yeah, that's basically it about Raikou. Some general tips for this team as well is like against certain Pokemon. If you face, let's say, if you face Slaking with Staraptor, Staraptor will most likely not one-shot it, even with close combat, because Slaking's defense and HP is insane. But sometimes, most of the times, it's actually just better to attack the Slaking and let him kill you. That way you get a free sword stance with Garchomp. And if you face a bulky water type Pokemon like Lapras, Dewgong, it's better to just U-turn into Raikou right away instead of attacking them. You won't one-shot them. And Dewgong especially, Dewgong has the Select Berry, so you'll make the Dewgong's HP really low by going for Brave Bird, but that will activate the Select Berry. And that means Dewgong is going to be faster than Garchomp. And if Dewgong freezes your Raikou and kills Raikou, then you're going to lose right there, because Garchomp is going to be slower. So if a certain other Pokemon can beat the opposing Pokemon, just U-turn straight away into it, or hard switch if you're facing a Pokemon that could have the ability Static or Flame Body. Those are pretty much the general tips. I hope these tips will help you guys. Let's do a quick recommendation for a team that's easy to get and really effective in the battle tower. Okay, for our first recommendation, we have Darmanitan. Darmanitan will pretty much be always the Pokemon you lead with. Basically the same concept as Staraptor, one-shotting everything with Flare Blitz. The things you can't kill, you U-turn on. But instead of the Choice Band, we go with the Life Orb here, because Flare Blitz already does a lot of damage, and sometimes you want to be able to switch out moves. Like against a lot of Pokemon you can click Earthquake as well, that is super effective. I have Rock Slide here. You can run Fire Punch if you don't want to take the recoil, because Fire Punch is also gonna kill something if it's super effective. But I have Rock Slide just to hit things like Gyarados, maybe Charizard, Pelipper, those kind of Pokemon that Adamant otherwise doesn't really hit. But yeah, one-shotting everything with Flare Blitz and U-turning out when he faces a Pokemon he cannot kill. That's basically how we use Darmanitan. Okay, next up we have Garchomp again. I know, but Garchomp is just a really good Pokemon. In whatever occasion you're going to use it, because he's good in PvE, but he's also good in PvP. But he's wonderful in the battle tower, because like I said before, he's really bulky, so he can switch into a lot of attacks, but his damage output is insane. So I think Garchomp is in pretty much in most battle tower teams people use. So pick up on yourself. If you don't have one, go to the Johto Safari Zone and catch one. The encounter rate is pretty low, but you should get 1 or 2 every trip, let's say that. So you eventually get one. The grind is not that hard for Garchomp, but go for Sandfall, because if you go for the hidden ability one, then you might not sleep really well, because that probably takes forever if you don't have any luck. Just go for Sandfall. If you have a rough skin, wonderful, but otherwise just catch the Sandfall one with a Jolly or Adamant nature and enjoy the power of Garchomp. By the way, we have Swords Dance obviously to boost his attack, but we choose Poison Jab because sometimes you do face a Togekiss, and if you take something like Fire Fang, you don't do a lot of damage. To take something like Brick Break is resisted, and if you choose to not take an attack there, then Dragon Claw and Earthquake are never going to touch Togekiss. That's why we have Poison Jab. Should have said that in the previous part of the video. But yeah, that's basically it about Garchomp, and we go to the last Pokemon. Okay, our last Pokemon is a Pokemon that goes by many names. Some call her Clefairy, some call him Clefairy, but we all know it as Clefable. The reason we go with Clefable here is just to pick a safe option that does a lot of special attack damage, and when you look at those criteria, you should think about Clefable. Clefable takes a lot of attacks, so it can switch into a lot of attacks, but it can also dish out a lot of damage because Moonblast is a 95 base power move. That is really nice, and Clefable's special attack is not something to laugh at. But yeah, let me explain the moveset real quick. We go with Toxic, Moonblast, Soft Boil, and Calm Mind. The reason we go for this moveset is because sometimes you just need to stall your opponent out. Yeah, stalling in PvE, but sometimes you must. And while you press Toxic, you can also set up a few Calm Minds without losing time, because you poison them, do damage every time, and meanwhile you can set up Calm Minds and keep yourself healthy with Soft Boil. So that way Clefable becomes a wall. But on the other side, Clefable also does a lot of damage after a few Calm Minds with Moonblast. So especially against that trainer who has, I believe the 21st battle, the trainer with the Milotic, Rhyperior, and a Dragonite, you can U-turn with Staraptor or Darmanitan into Clefable. Clefable can soft boil if it took a lot of damage, and then press Toxic and Calm Mind a few times, and eventually the Milotic will die, but you'll set up a few Calm Minds. After 2 Calm Minds, you'll probably knock out the Rhyperior, because Rhyperior's special defense is not that great. Yeah, and that's basically the idea. Also against a lot of bulky water types, you can poison them and set up a Calm Minds. And yeah, against a lot of bulky Pokemon in general, you can just Calm Mind with Clefable and just set up on them. But yeah, then the only problem with this team I see is the Gengar, because Darmanitan might struggle with Gengar, and obviously Clefable dies to Sludge Bomb. So my tip there is just stay in with Darmanitan and revenge the Gengar with Garchomp. And the AI is sometimes stupid, so maybe the AI will press Hex on your Darmanitan and Darmanitan lives and knocks it out. So just staying with Darmanitan in that situation. But otherwise, the concept is pretty much the same. U-turn into Garchomp or Clefable if Darmanitan doesn't beat it. Clefable is even safer than a Raikou, but because you're using Clefable here, it becomes a bit more stally at the end, so it might take you a bit more time to get those 50 wins, but it is safer. It is safer, and it is more consistent. So Clefable also not difficult to get. You can get one in the Mount Moon next to Pewter City, and just go for a Magikarp one. That way you also don't struggle against status like Poison or Burn. And oh yeah, the Darmanitan, just catch a Darumaka in a desert resort under Nimbasa City in Unova. The encounter rate there is really high. So just get these Pokemon, guys, and I hope you guys will be successful. If this video was helpful for you, please hit that like button so that I know you like this content. And for any more requests, again, check out my Discord server. I have a channel there in which you can request certain video ideas, and subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content. But that's it for now. Peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.